gentlemen, I would like to show you something very important in the Hawken meta, and that of course is stutter stepping. Now, this is the most basic form of stutter step, and there's several reasons why that's important. 1. It allows you to push your opponent while in combat, and with burst weapons you won't lose much DPS. 2. Light mechs can actually use that as a sort of dodge by looking away from their opponent and boosting up for a second. And 3. Deflectors. Deflectors are incredibly powerful internal, and if we pause it, if you look over my health bar, you'll see a shield icon. Now, that's only active during dodges or boosts, and what that means is I'm taking 20% less damage while boosting or dodging. And for a mech like the Brawler, a heavy mech, this turns out to be a massive bonus. In a best case scenario, you'll get 230 health. You'll never get a best case scenario, but you can get a pretty good chunk of extra health just by using a stutter step, and it's actually really cool. Obvious Predator, by the way, is obvious. Look at him, just hanging out. Hey buddy. Anyway, I wreck this guy, and as you can see, a lot of the time when I'm hit, I have that shield icon up, and that means that I'm taking 20% less damage. It's incredibly effective. And what's more is I'm able to push up and really control a fight because of that simple but very advanced technique of using a stutter step. Now, also part of what I like about Deflectors is that it allows you to be very defensive. You see, I shoot that man, and then I go right back into cover with a dodge. Since Deflectors affect not only pushing up, boosting, but dodging, you can be very defensive, and it's incredible how Deflectors allow you to be so flexible on the battlefield. It's fun, especially in a mech like Brawler. You won't be able to use that internal as effectively as, let's say, you're piloting a bruiser. You can't really make use of the bonuses, which is kind of a shame. I wish Deflectors would help some other mechs, but it simply doesn't work out that way, just due to the fact that the bruiser and such other mechs lack burst weapons. Burst weapons are so important for stutter step, it's crazy. So as you see, I'm just hanging out, having a good time, rolling around in Brawler, and I turn around and oh hey look, it's a Predator. Now, of course, a mean old infiltrator isn't going to let us have some fun, so I'm going to try and fight him. Now, when you're fighting an infiltrator, it's important to really be aggressive against him. Try to face hug him as a Brawler or a flak scout. It's very important to get right up into an infiltrator's face and give him a big hug, as they will likely damage themselves with their heat cannon or EOC pucks. And as you can see, he's a very good dueler. He's making use of his cover very well, but I'm just relentless in my press, and I get him. And that's another important thing about the stutter step, the ability to press up into an enemy mech's position while still doing damage. Of course, the Predator decides that he wants to join in on the fun, and, you know, just, hey buddy, you know, you could have just lived, but that's life and death. You get what's coming to you for betraying your friends. So later in the match, things really start to heat up. There are a lot more people than there were earlier in the match, and it's important to be able to really transition from engagement to engagement. Now I run into this infiltrator and dispose of him. Poor fella. And this fella appears. This is just something you'll get down while playing. This ability to just go from engagement to engagement. Sadly, I die from a cheeky predator that just destroys me. I hate predators. They're evil. They just have a habit of sneaking up on you and killing you, which I guess is the mark of a good predator. Now, don't be shy to press that C button. Repairing's important. As you can see, that bruiser popped his ability. That's an ability that allows him to take much less damage, and it's a pain. Now, never give up, even when you're at low health, because you might get a big fat assist. As you can see, that brawler dies, and I get quite a bit of XP and credit for an assist in a deathmatch, which affects your scoreboard. So, yeah, get those assists. They're important. Also, I don't encourage using SA Vulcans like that brawler is. It's not really as effective as Flak in the long term. It could work in Brawler Turret mode, but in my opinion, Brawler Turret mode isn't that great. At least not as good as Vanguard Turret mode. I'd rather use Vanguard Turret mode, maybe with SMC, if you want to play like that. I prefer Vulcan though on Vanguard Turret mode, and wow, I am off topic. Now, as a heavy mech, you're going to get hit with EMPs. You're a big fat target, essentially. Expect a lot of EMPs to go your way. I don't condone using countermeasures, but you might consider it. Also, this Rocketeer was not the brightest fellow. I don't know why you would choose to walk closer to a brawler. It's like walking into a punch. I don't get why a Rocketeer would decide to walk into a brawler. I would not advise doing what that Rocketeer was doing. You see, the Rocketeer is very strong until people walk up and hug him. That's when the Rocketeer decides to die. He just can't take a hug. He's Mr. Scrooge. He doesn't like hugs, the Rocketeer. Very grouchy mech. A lot of players will try to jump up and surround and make you feel confused by using air dodges and things like that. That's just trickery that you'll get used to as you play the game. By the way, never do what this guy just did. Don't go into turret mode in the middle of a fight. If you're going to engage in turret mode, you already have to be in turret mode. You can't do it in the smack dab middle of a fight where DPS matters, because while you're going into turret mode, you can still get damaged, and I can take advantage of you. Wow, that sounded more dirty than I wanted it to, but it's true. I can take advantage of you. I'm telling you how to avoid it. You can deal with it. Anyway, moving on. Also, make sure you pay attention to the stutter step in, yeah? Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, scouts are always tough to deal with in a brawler because they can always run away from you. But you have to be very aggressive with them, just like when you're dealing with infiltrators, like I showed earlier. That's in fact the same infiltrator player from earlier. And this Rocketeer makes that same mistake, walking into a punch. It's the equivalent of you're walking into death when you decide, I'm a Rocketeer, I'm going to try and face hug this enemy brawler. No, don't do it. It's a horrible idea. And this guy is very good at confusion, and I die because I don't know, running under a bridge. It's a bad idea when two bruisers are sitting around having drinks. And that's pretty much the end of the video. Now please, ladies and gentlemen, I hope if I see you in Hawken that you'll have some stutter in your step from now on. And with that, thank you and goodbye.